Hello YouTube, I'm back again with another video. This time I'm going to be doing my purple Kaido deck profile on the OPTCG simulator. See, this is the first. You're going to see me playing the OPTCG simulator on October, and you're going to be seeing the results of the decks that I've built throughout the past, and it's to see like how the decks pretty much like solidify themselves based on my preference and how they engage in actual dueling. So it's to give you guys a gist of my cards and why I feel comfortable with them. Also, by watching the games, you'll start to understand the strategy behind it, as to why I'm really fond of playing certain cards and how I managed to work with them. But besides that, I'm going to get straight to the point. So obviously our new Kaido leader, this time he's just pure purple. His effect seems like a major clause, and it seems like a huge cost because you got literally -7 Dom in order to trash one of your opponent's life. But it's not to do, you don't just outright do it. You wait when you have the opportunity, when you know you're about to beat your opponent. And this is the leader that I'm going to start playing, because I might have mentioned earlier in my videos, I feel like playing multicolored leaders don't really help because they give you one less life, and that makes a huge difference. So I'm just trying to stick with just monocolored leaders since they don't lose a life. But it's only good for specific leaders, especially yellow. But going straight into the main deck, playing 110 cost Kaido, not much to say, and for a valid reason why. On play, you -6 Dawn. It's optional since you're minusing Dawn. Okay, mount. As I was saying, on play, you -6 Dawn, and if your leader has Animal Kingdom Pirates type, you KO all other characters on the field. For our 2K, we're maxing out on Khalifa. The reason why I play her, because I need another draw card besides Queen, and although it may be slower, basically how this works is that you don't have to really give her Dawn. If you want to, it's up to you how you decide to play her, but it is important to realize that you can attack her without having to hit anything. So you just attack, minus a Dawn, draw 2 cards, discard your hand, depending if you don't like the cards in your hand, especially if you're playing bricks. And it's meant to help get rid of the bricks so that we can pretty much fix our hand and draw into more consistent cards as well as like game changers. This is a nice tech that I'm playing. I'm playing the 10 cost purple Luffy from OPO5. So the reason why I'm playing him, so it's more than just the on play, but basically his on play, you -10 Dawn, place all your characters other than this character at the bottom of your deck in any order. Then after this turn, you take another turn. So essentially, after you attack with all your characters and your leader towards your opponent and his characters, you get an extra turn along with your leader and Luffy, and you get to attack them 2 more times, and you get an additional draw. So those 2 more Dawn, even though you have to dispatch all of your Dawn to get him. But the important part is that he helps you ramp. So basically during the main, you can rest 1 Dawn to gain 1 active Dawn. A new card that we're playing from OPO8, and again, this is basically new support for this deck, thanks to post OPO8, and I feel like this deck is getting massive improvements, as well as being able to like play more cards and having access to stronger characters, and this is one of them. So I'm not sure you've seen a lot of decks, but basically on KO you get to set up 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck as rested. But on trigger, the reason I'm playing this because you get to play this card by minusing 1 Dawn after he's been hit from your life card. And another card from OP8 we're playing is the 9-drop purple Linden. So basically, on play, you -1 Dawn, you trash 1 card from your hand, and up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life, then place up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 6 or less to the top or bottom of its owner's life face up. So essentially, not only is it giving life, it's getting rid of one of your opponent's characters. So the reason behind that is you have a chance to possibly trash with your leader, Kaido, or it's to get rid of an important character that may be causing you issues on the field. So having that out of the picture makes it so that you can just like clear your opponent and be able to play this deck at ease. And for another, we're playing, obviously, we're maxing out on another 2K card, which happens to be Black Maria. So again, she is a 2K counter, but the important part is you want to have 1 on field, because this ensures that you have extra Dawn. So whatever Dawn you lose, you have a chance to be able to like keep up with your opponent. But so basically how this works: activate main once per turn. If you have no other Black Maria card on the field, add to 5 Dawn cards from your Dawn deck rested. Then at the end of your turn, you turn Dawn cards from your field to the Dawn deck until the number of Dawn cards on your field is equal to the number of your opponent's field. So basically how this works is that even if you were to have less than your opponent, you actually don't lose Dawn. But if you have more Dawn than your opponent, you got to put them back to your Dawn deck until it's equal to your opponent's Dawn area. So what it means that is to ensure that you either have enough Dawn to catch up with your opponent, or it's to make sure your Dawn is equal to your opponent's. Another 10 cost that we're playing happens to be Kaido Linden. This card will also come in important. You just play 1 of, because I have ways of getting it out. So because it can be slow too. But basically, when it attacks, you -10 Dawn, similar to Purple Luffy. But you KO all other characters on the field, then put up to 1 card from the top of your deck on your life pile, and trash up to 1 card from the top of your opponent's life card. So basically, this increases the odds of not only getting your opponent's life, but potentially KOing your opponent. So the moment you trash their life, you have a chance at outright defeating your opponent from now on. So, or from there, depending how you decide to use this card. But basically, your best bet is to make sure they have 1 life left, and you already attacked with all your characters, powered up with your Dawn, and from there, once you already powered up all your other characters and you already attacked with the attached Dawn, you leave this card for last, and when he or she attacks, you minus all Dawn, whether it be attached to your characters, your leader, whatever, and you try to finish them off. So basically how this works is that when you minus all your Dawn, you get an extra life, your opponent loses 1 life, and this card has a chance of outright killing your opponent from now on. From there and now, and the only way they can be able to get over it is if they have enough counters in hand, and if not, from there you have complete control. Another 2K counter we're playing Not Much to Say for ulti from STO4, which happens to be a 2K, but on play you minus it on, and you get to play 1 page 1 card with the cost of 4 less from your hand. We're playing 3 9-cost purple Kaido, which is also from STO4. So basically how this works, you -6 Dawn, or I apologize, you -5 Dawn, you couldn't read that carefully, you -5 Dawn. You can KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters with the cost of 6 or less, and if so, this card gains Rush. We're playing just 2K because I feel like his effect isn't so strong, and he can be situational sometimes, because I feel like once the pace gets like it's longer and the game starts to like go in deep, your best bet is to use it when necessary, because I feel like Although this card may help afterwards, but I feel like depending what they have on field, the 4 cost may not be too much of an issue, but usually the high-end ones, the characters. So it can help early game, or it can help against blockers, but it just doesn't really amount to those big characters that you got to be aware of, because by playing it, it may not be worth your $6. But you only choose to use it when you know there's a card that costs less that is a problem. So obviously we got to max out on our 5 cost queen, which is again no exception, our blocker. On top of that, he has 6k power, and if you choose to, since he's a big body, you can attack if you have enough defense, or to pretty much close the duel. But on play, you -1 Dawn, and if you do, draw 2 cards and trash 1 card from your hand. We're playing 4 2 cost blockers of Black Maria. Now I could choose to use the use kit, but how I'm trying to work with this deck is basically try to run just a balanced curve, just so I can be able to play low costs and eventually wait until I have enough Dawn to go into my high costs later. So basically you want to have many low costs just to basically build up your offense, build up your defense. And although she doesn't do much, it can help early game just to ensure that you don't want to lose more life, and be able to set up your big cards like clutch cards, big momentum cards afterwards, because they will come in more useful when you lose them later on, simply because they can turn the tide of the duel, as well as be able to like overcome the competition. And you want to use it against your opponent's best cards, or when you know they don't have enough coverage. So obviously we're not really much to say. You play the 4-page one, you max out on this so that you can make the most out of Purple Altis effect, so it can be able to increase your board presence. But it just doesn't. I feel like you always have to max out on Patreon on the regular cost. I mean the regular monster, simply because although he may not do anything, it's because of his power, which will play an important part. And going straight to our events, playing 3 Gum Gatling. I feel like you have to, since you tend to play a lot of bricks, but a lot of times those bricks can help you clinch games. So if you have any extras and you know you can draw into them, it's always best to discard them. But either way, you may discard 1 card from your hand. Up to 1 of your leader or character cards gains 3,000 power during that battle, and its triggers is you can add up to 1 Dawn card from your deck and set it as active. Now this could help if you have any counters, but a lot of times you want to save it to summon big characters, or you want to be able to retrieve the Dawn that you lost, which you minused, and which this deck has issues with, because you will be minusing a lot of Dawn. So Jet Gatling has its place in this deck for you to help you come back in the lead. A card that will help you come back in the lead will happen to be our 1 cost, which is our only one. We're going to claim the 1 piece, and if your leader has the Animal Kingdom Pirates or Big Mom Pirates type, you look at the top 5 cards from your deck, you reveal up to 1 of them, which happens to be Animal Kingdom Pirates or Big Mom Pirates type card. Other than this card, you add it to your hand. So I did read it. It's kind of weird that's not a Big Mom Pirates card or Animal Kingdom Pirates cards, because simply because it's a card that actually works with the archetype that is meant to support them. So I was wondering why it wouldn't have that type. It would definitely make sense, but it should be other than this card. But I feel like there's things they could fix with this card, because it's kind of contradicting. Because if you feel like it's something that's meant for the Animal Kingdom Pirates and Big Mom Pirates, which allows you to search them, so why not have the type? because if they want to lock this card, it should be other than this card. And we're also going to our other events, so I don't want to waste too much time. This is card supposed to be Conquest C, but I feel like they I'm not sure if they changed the OCG name from the OCG to the TCG. This one is called Hawkeye Ocean Sovereignty, but in the TCG it's called Conquest of the Sea. So going back to what I said, and I want to explain its effect. During the main, you -2 Dawn. If your leader type has Animal Kingdom Pirates or Big Mom Pirates in it, you can up to 2 of your opponent's characters that cost 6 or less. So this makes a huge difference. This would definitely benefited Purple Blue Kaido, because whenever you kill something and you give it Dawn, you retrieve an active Dawn. But with this deck, this will come in handy because you're getting rid of multiple characters. And 2 is the perfect amount. You want to make sure you see enough characters, but at the same time you want to play a good amount of events so that they don't clog your hand. But you only use events you know for a fact are going to make a huge difference in that duel. Same thing with Onigashima, which is why we play 3. Normally I would play 4, but unfortunately you're only allowed to play 1 stage in a duel, unless there is removal. But how this card works, not really much to say. A lot of people should know this by now. You may rest the stage. If your leader has the Animal Kingdom Pirates type, you add 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and rest it. It would have been nice had it been active, because I feel like the resting part, although yes, this is a strong card, you constantly get to add Dawn, but I feel like simply because it's leader locked into Kaido, I feel like it should be active. Although it would make a huge difference and it would really benefit Animal Kingdoms. I feel like this is the only way that Purple can be able to push and give it it's limited effects, its restrictions, and minusing a purpose, so that although you lose, at least you always have Dawn to help you ramp you up, and you can always savor that Dawn for later in order to see your big characters earlier as much as you can, to be able to push for advantage. But it's like at the same time, when you rest, this deck just still continues to lack Dawn, as well as it just puts itself it just literally puts itself just in a lot of disadvantages. Just the fact that there isn't a way where every time you lose Dawn, is you can't be able to retrieve most of it. There needs to be a way where you can actually make the most out of your Dawn, which you can. But I feel like you're losing far more Dawn than you are benefiting. And at the same time, yes, it would make Kaido a lot more powerful, but at the same time, it is leader locked. But it's it is losing that benefit, considering you don't realize how much Dawn you're minusing just to give this deck the upper hand that needs. And Purple needs as much support as it can for it to be able to retrieve the Dawn in order to make plays, in order to keep up. In which I feel like the more Dawns you lose, it still has an issue with not being able to keep up. And Black Mirror is helping the deck, and people can argue whether Black Mirror is broken, but at the same time, it's giving Purple a reason to actually be able to compete. Although it may seem powerful, but it's at the same time, it makes most of the amount of Dawn that you lose, and that the deck needs ways in order to keep up, so that it has a chance to be able to play the cards it needs, so that it isn't always below the competition, and which I feel to this day is an issue. But overall, you guys, I feel like I said enough. These are my personal card preferences. I understand there could have been changes, like playing max copies of Eustace Kid or 2 Trafalgar Law, but the reason behind that is because their cost, and the whole purpose behind this deck is to play low cost so I can have some sort of edge. But I even mentioned before that the deck loses a lot of edge considering the amount of Dawn you're minusing, but like, or in a lot of times, like if I were to play the Eustace Kid and the Law, whatever, I'm missing out on characters going first or second, and I want to be able to play some characters that can be able to either attack or be able to defend. And that's where I kind of seen the issue with Kid. Maybe if there was more space, and maybe if the deck wasn't so tight and I could be able to play more cards, or like if I have enough characters that can be played going first or second, then I would probably most likely consider that. But I feel like they will just, if anything, if I do include those cards, I feel like my deck will just flunk. And I really pay attention to the curve, you guys, and I feel like although you get a lot of benefits with the cards, but for what it's worth, it's not worth waiting 3 or 4 turns just to play something in order to block or attack, when you could be doing that with some cards that could actually outright help you. Because even if you were to go into ulti, you potentially have to wait 3 turns to be able to do so. But I always feel like it's important to have something where you can play either first or going second, as you can see based on my card choices. So I feel like having those two would really put myself, it would really put myself like behind, and I'm talking about throughout most of the games, whether it just be regular or competitive. But I'm really trying to put some thought into how I choose to manage my curve, and that's what I'm doing, guys, to make sure by managing my curve I have a chance of actually playing something a lot more sooner. And it would definitely put me at a disadvantage, you guys. So I feel like there's no need for people who mention any Kid or Trafalgar, because I feel like there's no need. It's only those who know how to use the deck. But I feel like it just puts me, it really puts me behind, and I just feel like by doing that, it just not only seems like an amateur move, but I feel like I'm always going to be outclassed if I don't play something sooner. And this is that's the purpose behind this deck, to play something soon and be able to do it on time, in which you can't, because the longer you wait, the more your opponent's building up, and the more you're losing advantage, and it's putting you behind the competition. But again, you guys, overall I've been saying way too much, just trying to get my point across. But overall, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to check for more upcoming content later in the future. Be sure to check your notifications, comment, like, subscribe. Thank you.